Go back to the beginning. It's 1964 in Eugene, Oregon, a university town saturated with the smell of rain, pine, and ambition. Phil Knight, a middle-distance runner with a sharp analytical mind and a restless heart, graduates from the University of Oregon and ponders his next move. On a trip to Japan, he discovers Onitsuka Tiger, a company making lightweight shoes far superior to the heavy leather clunkers favored in America. He sees opportunity, and so does his old track coach, Bill Bowerman. Bowerman is more than a coach. He's an experimenter, a perfectionist, obsessed with making his runners faster by whatever means necessary, from diet to training regimens to tinkering with shoe designs in his garage. Bowerman and Knight have the foundational qualities of every great partnership: a dreamer and a doer, a visionary and a pragmatist. They scrape together $1,200 and start Blue Ribbon Sports, the seed that will one day become Nike. Armed with a trunk full of shoes and endless determination, Knight starts selling sneakers out of the back of his Plymouth Valiant. The hustle is real and the growth is slow, but innovation doesn't wait. One morning, Bowerman, seeking a way to give his athletes a better grip during races, pours polyurethane into his wife's waffle iron. The experiment goes awry at first. His wife isn't delighted by the state of her kitchen, but eventually the idea sticks. The nubby, square-patterned sole delivers traction without weight. The waffle sole is born, and with it, a hint of Nike's future DNA, relentless creativity, and the willingness to break the mold, even if it means literally frying rubber in your kitchen. As Blue Ribbon Sports races towards its own destiny, cracks start to form in its partnership with Onitsuka. By 1971, Phil Knight and Bill Bowerman are ready to go solo. They need a new name. Inspiration arrives in a dream. Nike, pronounced Nike, after the Greek goddess of victory. Simultaneously, a young graphic design student named Carolyn Davidson sketches what will become the swoosh, a simple, fluid mark suggesting speed and motion. She charges $30 her work. The world receives one of the most potent logos in history. Phil Knight's reaction is famously lukewarm. "I don't love it," he says, "but maybe it will grow on me." The icon grows on everyone. It becomes a banner, a tribal tattoo, a promise that anything is possible if you're willing to put in the work. Nike, as a company, is scrappy in those early days. Money is tight. The first batch of swoosh-branded shoes arrives with the logo sewn on backward in some cases. Still, they hustle, distributing free samples to coaches and athletes, moving sneakers hand-to-hand and trunk-to-trunk. Their first major star? Steve Prefontaine, a brash and fearless runner from Oregon, who becomes a living, breathing representation of what Nike stands for: talent, struggle, rebellion, and swagger. Prefontaine is bristling with confidence. He wants to win, but on his own terms, and for Nike, his endorsement is a statement. Nike isn't just selling shoes, they are selling the spirit of the athlete. This approach marks a pivotal moment. Nike could never outspend or outmaneuver the established brands with pure manufacturing or advertising. But what if the story is not about the shoes, but about the athletes who wear them? Instead of pushing product, Nike pushes personality, drive, and identity. They make the athlete the hero, and in elevating the athletes, they elevate themselves. Fast forward to 1984, an era when Converse rules the NBA, and Adidas owns the cool factor. But Nike has vision. They see something others don't in a young rookie from North Carolina, a man named Michael Jordan. Despite his hesitance, his heart was with Adidas. Nike pulls out all the stops, giving him an unprecedented $500,000 a year and complete creative control over his own shoe. The Air Jordan 1 is born, and the NBA promptly bans it for violating uniform codes. Nike's response? They pay Jordan's fines and build an ad campaign around it. Because they can't stop you from wearing them, the commercials boast. The shoes become a symbol not just of style and performance, but of resistance. Every kid who laces up a pair is making a statement. I'm not here to follow the rules. I'm here to set them. The Air Jordan line transforms sneaker culture. Shoes are no longer just sports equipment. They are status symbols, collectibles. canvases for storytelling. Sneakerheads emerge, lines snake around city blocks, and every drop becomes an event. Michael Jordan soars above the rim. Nike soars with him. The brand cements itself as not just a purveyor of products, but as a platform for cultural moments. Nike's approach to marketing breaks new ground. Advertising is less about features and more about feelings. Campaigns are creative, visceral, often a little subversive. The message is simple. If you have a body, you're an athlete. The persona of the brand becomes all about embracing risk, stepping into the arena, and never shying away from a challenge. Then, in 1988, Nike's most famous words arrive, "Just do it." The phrase, born from the most unlikely of inspirations, the last words of a convicted murderer, captures a universal sentiment. It's powerful because it's simple: fear, doubt, and hesitation. The phrase cuts through all of it, leaving only action. Just do. It doesn't tell you what to do. It tells you to get up and get going, whatever your goal might be. Nike's slogan is more than a catchphrase. It's a philosophy. It speaks to champions chasing medals and to ordinary people just trying to get off the couch. Just do it democratizes greatness. It positions success not as the privilege of the ultra-talented, but as the result of effort, persistence, and belief. Anyone can chase greatness if they're willing to act. As the company grows, Nike's impact moves beyond sport. They enter fashion, first by accident, later by design. Athleisure becomes a trend. Celebrities and musicians wear Nike, making the brand a fixture not just on courts and tracks, but in nightclubs and magazines. But the ride is not always smooth. The bigger Nike gets, the more scrutiny it attracts. Questions emerge about its business practices, about sweatshops, wages, and working conditions in overseas factories. Activists and journalists turn the spotlight on Nike's supply chain, and the brand is forced to respond. The process is painful and public. Nike doesn't always get it right, but the company is forced to evolve, increasing transparency, investing in sustainability, and becoming an early adopter of ethical audits. This willingness to change is part of the Nike ethos. The world is not static. Neither is greatness. As social movements grow, so do consumer expectations of their brands. Nike sees the cultural moment, inclusion, equity, justice, and bills itself as a company willing to take bold stands. They run ads that celebrate female athletes, pushing boundaries, and campaigns that embrace athletes of all abilities, backgrounds, and beliefs. One of Nike's most defining moments comes decades after its birth. In 2016, NFL quarterback Colin Kaepernick kneels during the national anthem to protest racial injustice and police violence. The gesture is polarizing, heralded and condemned in equal measure. Nike, reviewing its core DNA, decides to stand by Kaepernick. They feature him in a powerful ad campaign. Believe in something, even if it means sacrificing everything. The backlash is fierce. Shoes are burned on social media. Stock prices wobble. But as the storm quiets, Nike emerges stronger. The company understands something most brands miss. When you stand for something real, you build real loyalty, even if it's risky. Nike's campaigns become case studies for cultural marketing, blending social relevance with big dreams. Serena Williams dismantling barriers. LeBron James turning losses into lessons. Caster Semenya, Megan Rapinoe, and Eliud Kipchoge all tell stories that challenge assumptions and redefine success. For every athlete, Nike broadcasts the message: your story, your struggle, and your victory matter. Behind these moments lies a relentless focus on innovation. Nike invests billions in technology, lighter materials, precision-engineered foam, self-lacing shoes, recycled plastics, and advanced biomechanics. Their innovation kitchen becomes legendary, a laboratory where boundaries blur between science fiction and reality. The company moves into digital, launching apps that let runners track miles, customize shoes, and connect in a global community. The dream that began with a waffle iron expands into a connected world, where every step and sprint is tracked, shared, and celebrated. Nike does not chase perfection. It chases progress. Its legacy is written in every starting block, every city street, every challenge faced and overcome. The swoosh is no longer just a logo, it's shorthand for possibility. To wear Nike is to signal not just athletic allegiance, but the desire to become better, whatever better means to you. Consider the influence. Nike is in hip-hop lyrics, in Oscar speeches, on championship stages, at grassroots events, in the classroom, and on the playground. It's as much a language as it is an apparel provider. School kids swap Jordans like trading cards. Weekend warriors lace up for their first marathon, motivated by the three words that have inspired generations to get moving. Icons have a responsibility: to inspire, to challenge, to lift up. Nike, for all its missteps and course corrections, continues to shape not only sneakers, but stories. The story of possibility, the story of pushing through the pain, the story of daring to dream differently, to dare mightily and fail, and to get up and try again. Because the real revolution isn't in the shoes. The decision to show up, to give our best, to prove to ourselves and the world that there's no finish line. The story of Nike is not just their story, it's yours too.